some seaweeds in the Zulu.
Today in the Mayfly shop, I've got Bob Corson from Zooloo and the Seaweeds. Bob, how's it going?
I'm doing well, thanks for having me.
I'm glad you could stop by the shop today. Normally in these things, we talk about music, we talk about electronics, we talk about pedals, we talk about amps, guitars. But I thought today we could do something a little different. Maybe we could test some peanut butter.
This is a little awkward, Trevor. I'm anaphylactic.
We got a bunch here. I'm going to start with the classics. You know, I got to tell you, I'm not sure how we're gonna talk when we're eating this stuff, but we're gonna try it.
So what about if if a question comes up about another pedal or another gear, then that's the time that we answer by putting the peanut butter in our mouth.
I come prepared. This is for you.
Sorry, I don't do creamy. It's crunchy or bust.
No, the natural stuff is my favorite.
Me too.
Well, this is awkward.
I'm a crunchy guy.
All right, swap it out. So how long have you been in Zooloo and the Seaweeds for?
I joined the band in December.
Really? So less than a year?
Yeah.
Wow, and you guys have done a pile of shows, high profile shows, and you're also working on a new album. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so we finished recording the album about 3 weeks ago. Actually, the first single comes out today. Great group of people, super talented sound engineer, super talented producer, some awesome guests on some of the tracks in the album as well. So yeah, all around a really, really good experience.
And what about the people in the band? Can you tell me about them?
Sure. So Zulu has been a pretty well-known blues singer for I think over 20 years. She has 5 albums out, so this will be the 6th. Had been nominated for a Juno previously, as well as a Lee's Blues Award, which is an award in Quebec. Her husband, Pat Cully, plays bass. Rick Picard on drums, and then yours truly on guitar.
And so how'd you manage to get this gig?
Well, it was on Facebook, and there was an ad that popped up 5 minutes before I've been on. Anyway, I ended up calling and chatting with Pat, and then had a conversation with Zooloo. Got a list of some tunes for rehearsal, and went out and just, yeah, great group of people, awesome chemistry, and it's been nothing but fun since.
Sounds like a big high-end studio.
This is the first time I've been in studio working on an album. So this was on-the-job training in a really good way. Johnny Hayes' studio, which is located from an Ontario perspective, not far from Hawkesbury in Quebec. That is where we did the recording. Johnny's just an outstanding guy, super talented and fun to hang around with.
So this is actually in rural Quebec where the studio is?
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah, which actually set a great vibe. After the day or late into the evening, we work and go back to the Airbnb, cook dinner, hang out, have some laughs. So the whole thing was all about kind of bonding, chemistry, and we could kind of debrief on the day. What are we planning for the next day? The whole experience was just absolutely outstanding.
That sounds really cool. It sounds kind of like Lee's studio back in the 80s.
There's that kind of vibe to it, yeah, for sure.
Wow, nice.
Producer and production's being done by Anthony Gregoire, pretty well respected ethnomusicologist.
Is that like a mixologist only?
Yeah, some alcohol, yeah. Zulu got exposure to that as well, and so now again you have these stars aligning, where part of the theme of the album is that journey from Africa to New Orleans, in terms of the music, the culture, and a lot of stories that came out of that. You take somebody with that kind of broad experience, who then goes into a role of production and stimulating musicians to think about things differently. Awesome experience.
You're a Berkeley College of Music. Is it college or is it university?
It's Berkeley College of Music.
Berkeley grad.
Well, about to be, but yeah. Walked the stage for commencement in May, but they allow you to do that provided you just finish up your courses by the end of the semester. So I'm done as of the 15th of September.
How long have you been playing for?
I started when I was 11, over 40 years.
The natural peanut butter is gone. Now we have American style peanut butter. And we're going to compare this and contrast. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
You know, I don't like it.
It's fabricated.
No.
I like the real deal.
They cover over the bad flavor with a lot of salt and a lot of sugar.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're eating icing sugar.
Let that be a lesson to you kids. So how long were you in the studio for?
Well, we broke it up into a number of different sessions, bed tracks with the bass and drums, then the other layers were added on top of that. Kind of lost count, I think in total there were kind of 6 or 7 sessions that happened.
And was mixing done in the same studio?
Quick answer, yes. Mastering will be done at by Lark, which is
very cool.
Part of the University of Laval, world-class studio. And so given there's a lot of ambience and sonic texture that we're using on a lot of the songs, really looking forward to the audio experience for the listener.
So I understand that you're using a mayfly jellyfish.
Yes. Super impressed. Super impressed. The jellyfish is as flexible as cooked spaghetti. I really like the 2 sides options. You know, I don't need to bend down and twist things. I can press a button and have 2 different effects. Cool. I used a couple of different amps with it, and yeah, really impressed.
What amps were you using?
So there were 3 that I used. One was Greg Koch, really well-known blues player. He had a partnership with a company called Koch Amps out of Netherlands. I had taken actually a few lessons online with Greg. That was when I had some exposure to his amp and bought one. The second is Mesa Lone Star, and then the third is a knockoff of a Dumble Overdrive Special. So what I wanted to do is to mix and match sound of EL34s with some 6L6. So on all the tracks, there's 2 amps that are being used. We also doubled up some of the parts as well. So yeah, pretty happy with the way the guitar sounded.
I've yet to try your Dumble. How is it different from other amps?
The thickness of the tone, the amount of what you get across the whole frequency spectrum is something else. And it's all crisp and clean. So you still get to, a little less bass and what you want to do with the mids. My general wording of it is, it's richer across that spectrum. I'll bring it by, or you can come out to Chez Bob and we'll do it there.
Yeah, sure. Hey, speaking of Chez Bob, you brought a guitar. Let's see it.
Sure. This is Steve. Steve's a 1979 ES-347. Yeah, I'm gonna sound like that gas guy, but this is my second ES-347.
Okay.
Back in February, I bought one. The gentleman who I was and still take lessons from was a Berkeley prof. Held it at his place, and then when I was down there, I brought it home. I have a long story on customs, and then I just had the one that I got got my hands on in May it's in showroom condition.
Okay.
And I was so impressed with playing, I wanted to get one that I could use for when we're out on tour. And so, I mean, this one's in great shape. There are a couple of marks on it, but yeah, really impressed with these.
Well, what's the difference between the ES-175 and a 335 or something like that?
So in the case of this one, the 347, there's a couple of things. Super easy to change into intonation. I love this. Of course, you can then...
there's 2 toggle switches.
Yeah, so obviously pickup selector, but then I can go to single coil. What I love about this is it reduces the number of guitars I got to use. Ebony fretboard.
Right.
So you combine that kind of brighter sound with a set of humbuckers. Awesome. So I can go from sweet, smooth jazz to kind of some burning blues in under 2.3 seconds.
So a hollow body Les Paul custom with coil splitting.
Yeah. The only difference between, and there may be others, I don't know for sure, but the other difference between this and the 355, and by the way, 355 is what B.B. King, among others, played, is you've got that other stereo control.
Can I have a look at that?
Of course you can.
I won't get peanut butter on it, I promise. Oh, it's heavy. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a little over 9 pounds.
Holy crap.
I love the feel of the neck. It just fits in the hand really nicely.
So is the brass nut original?
I believe so, because my other one's got a brass nut as well.
Well, that's really quite something. And so this is the 79.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh.
Exactly. For those who didn't see it, on the back of the neck is stamped second.
So a factory second.
A factory second. Doesn't matter to me. Sounds great, and I still don't know looking at it now, I don't know what it had at the time.
It would have been a paint defect of some kind.
Probably, yeah. So, and the beauty of it is, because it's got that on the neck, price was right.
And so you've got 2 of these?
Yeah. The other one's a Sunburst.
Careful. You don't want to put a dent in it.
Well, I want my own marks.
So what's your touring plans for next year?
So all of that's just starting to crank up. We're just finalizing arrangements with a booking agent.
Okay.
So expect activity to start to crank up fairly quickly. A, because of that, and B, as we all know, music's a contact sport. So since we've got the album coming out, we want to get out and promote it and play it and get some more followers and interest.
So that's the original case.
Yeah.
Wow. That's in pretty good shape. Okay, so have a look at this. It's salted caramel. So either this will be great or it'll be horrible. If I can get the label
Do you want to hold the guitar while we do that?
Adds mojo, man.
You have to zoom in on the shot. And we have a show coming up August 24th at a really cool location in Gatineau.
So this is like a dessert peanut butter. I wonder what would happen if we made peanut butter cookies using this.
Yeah, I can see that. First single out today. We're actually planning on doing a video shoot for the single in a couple of weeks. Then the next single will come out September. Album release in October.
Nice.
We've just booked a date with a great venue. So locally, we'll do an album release there. Going down to New Orleans.
Nice. Gotta do it.
To do an album release in the U.S. And then from there, get out, play, promote the album. So yeah, it's pretty fun times.
I'm out of things to ask. Do you want to ask me something, or what do you think?
Do you want to chat about the Sunrise?
So the latest Mayfly pedal, the Sunrise Guitar Amp Simulator. I love it. I use it all the time. I stopped using an amp live. Slap it down, you plug into the PA, get a monitor mix, and you go. Especially for festival gigs and stuff like that. But what I found with the Axe FX, you get a little latency. Suddenly, I find it hard to keep a groove going. What I wanted to do with this is I didn't want to have any latency in it, except unfortunately with the reverb, but everything else is analog. The other thing that I found, if you're working in the basement and you're getting all your tones, you're saying, okay, for this song I'm going to use a Fender, for this song I'm going to use an AC30, but then you go to the gig and you switch from one amp to the other, and either it's way too loud or way too quiet or something, and then you're trying to go through menus and stuff trying to fix it, but they're way too deep to deal with in a live situation.
That's exactly my experience.
Yeah, you just can't deal with it. It's actually better and simpler just to use one amp live.
Yeah.
That is my new secret to tone nirvana. One amp, pedals in front of it. Models my version of a blackface reverb. I was going for more of a super reverb sound, but people tell me it sounds more like a deluxe reverb, but I don't know.
So I'm looking forward to using this.
Very cool.
I'm going to use it in our next gig.
Nice.
And why don't we come back and have another chat about what the experience was like. I'll see if I can capture some feedback from my bandmates, from a sound engineer. And
that would be awesome. So we should end on some kind of high note.
A competition to see how many crackers we can fit in our mouth and to speak.
Okay.
I can't speak right now.